Yet another day, yet another African-American shot, killed by police.
For the second time in as many weeks, a grand jury has found the evidence is just not there to charge a white police officer in connection with the death of a black civilian. This time it's in the biggest city in the nation,
Dallas, Texas tonight.
2 days after the release of videos and the police-involved shooting death of 18-year-old Paul
This one involves the video
shot
seen
Cardinal
around the world by
suspect
now, showing a man named
after
Eric.
running
This yellow shop used to be Eric Garner's hangout.
And I think it all took a bad turn with Ferguson.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri.
It began to tarnish the badge that these men and women have worked so hard for over the years to protect everybody. If those guys need training or they made a mistake, then deal with it, but don't riot, don't burn the city, don't tip over cars, and don't just start shooting officers at a Black Lives Matter event.
Police say that a lone gunman, angry about recent police shootings of black men, opened fire on officers as they guarded a peaceful demonstration against the killings in Louisiana and Minnesota earlier this week.
Law enforcement's a tough job. Somebody with an edged weapon, with a knife, if they're within that 21-foot range, they can get to me in 1.5 seconds and kill me and do damage. So I hear all the time, people say, well, why didn't the officer just shoot him in the hand? Why didn't he shoot him in the foot? All he had was a knife. Look, they don't understand. There's been research. That guy can, if he's within that 21-foot range, he can get on top of me before I can react. I've got to, first of all, recognize a threat, get my gun, get it out of a safety holster. It's not just easy to come out. There's several different things that we have to go through to get that gun out. Then I have to be able to fire back all within 1.5 seconds. So that's not going to happen. So to use a less than lethal weapon with somebody with a knife within that range is insane. The whole thing is within a blink of an eye, within seconds.
What kind of car do you drive?
This is my car, man.
Oh.
Maupin, the officer, is shot. It happens that fast.
What's going on today, gentlemen?
Huh? What's wrong with you?
What's going on today, gentlemen?
What do you want?
What's happening here?
What's wrong with you?
Back up.
Huh? You just shot him?
Hey, he rushed me.
Tell me why you shot.
Well, I've shot because he was within that zone. I felt there was an imminent threat. I didn't necessarily see him armed, but he came clearly to do some harm to the officer, to my person. It's hard to make that call. It shakes you up.
Again, an unarmed man was shot.
And citizens and everybody else is going to take months to pick that case apart and look at it, when in reality, that officer, based on his training, makes a decision that quick. And I can remember as a young rookie, it was May 6, 1989, it's etched into my brain, I won't forget it. I keep this file under my desk. This is an incident where I responded to a burglary and apartment complex after midnight, and just prior to me getting there, the dispatcher says shots fired. That's all I know. Behind this truck, I hear a couple of rounds go off and this guy pops up and the gun's in my face. I didn't say freeze. If I did, I wouldn't be here today.
Our aim is always to try and resolve a situation or a crisis situation with less lethal. Some of the things that we have at our disposal are tasers, mace, and we also have the beanbag.
Every Lakeland police officer with our agency has got to go through some basic training before they hit the street. Part of that training is before they carry pepper spray, they have to be sprayed with gas. And a lot of people say, well, that's crazy, or I don't want to do that. Well, they do. If you don't want to be a police officer, then don't do it. But they have to carry it. We want them to know what it's like to be incapacitated. You need to know what that person's going through. Once you spray them and they go down, you need to understand why they need verbal commands. They can't see. Some of them can't breathe, so you have to talk them through that whole process. Well, less than lethal is the way to go, but it's not always the answer. It could be fatal. There are times that you don't want to use it.
Not all situations can be resolved without gunfire. While on the motorcycles here at Lakeland Police Department, I responded to a call of a subject with a warrant. Whenever I got off my motorcycle, all I was inquiring about was his identification so that we could confirm that it was him or not. The subject, within a blink of an eye, produced a silver handgun and pointed it in my direction. He was able to fire off 2 rounds, one of them striking me in the right arm, entering at my elbow and exiting just underneath the armpit, going through my entire tricep. Luckily for myself, I was able to go home safely that night.
I want people to come away thinking, yeah, we have less than lethal weapons to use, and we'll use those if we can, but it's not always the situation and available for us to use. We don't want to use deadly force. We're human, and that we're just like anybody else. We have hobbies. We like to go to the movies. It's a job that we decide to do. And whether you say we're chosen or we decide to do that field, 99% of the officers or more that I know, that I've had contact with over 30 years, would run into a gun battle instead of running the other way, just so they can make that difference and do their job and keep people safe.